stuff. Anyway, yeah, I'm Tristan.
I'm Mohammed.
And you're listening to Difference of Squares. You missed a little opening bit where I forgot to hit record, but that's fine. It was very minor banter.
Yeah, you didn't miss much.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm having a rough week. I'm telling you, my skin's breaking out. Like, there's these outwardly expressions of stress. I can see it. It's allergies too. Mine are hitting like hard right now.
Yeah, Muhammad keeps bailing for allergies. He's done it twice.
My face, I don't have to lie. You know, you can't make this up. My eyes are barely open. But
you're just tired.
Okay, fine, whatever. I'm not gonna try to defend myself. I look rough. I feel rough, but
yeah,
I'm here.
Well,
I'm up.
With the continuing adventures of Grigner. Where we last left, though, I think he just broke out of prison and killed his guards.
I need to pull him up.
Wandered aimlessly around the dungeon looking for an exit for a while. Triggered a trap, narrowly avoided getting killed by it, reset the trap, and then stumbled across that weird ritual with the girl about to be sacrificed. And where we left off, I think, on a bit of a cliffhanger, because he had just jumped down and was just started swinging his axe around, and it looks like he's going to murder some people.
Let's go.
So let's get some
action.
action.
Exactly where I was.
The last sentence that we read was in chapter 6. As startled by the barbarian's stunning appearance, the chronic fit of their fellow, and the fear that Grigner might be the avant-garde of a conquering force dedicated to the cause of destroying their degenerated cult, the shaman momentarily lost their composure. And then they gave vent to heedless pandemonium, and they fell easy prey to Grigner's sweeping arc of crimson death and maiming destruction.
Okay.
So hopefully you found it.
I found it.
Yeah. And now we continue. We actually get some action here. This is a lot of boring description. Now we get some action. Let's see how long the action lasts. The acolyte performing the sacrifice took a vicious blow to the stomach, hands clutching vitals and severed spinal cord as he sprawled over the altar. The disorganized priests lurched and staggered with split skulls, dismembered limbs, and spewing entrails before the enraged accordion's relentless onslaught. The howls of the maimed and dying reverberated against the walls of the tiny chamber, a chorus of hell-fraught despair as the granite floor ran red with blood. The entire chamber was encompassed in the heat of raw, savage butchery, as Grigner luxuriated in the grips of a primitive, beastly bloodlust. I like how the floor is always granite. Normally he uses a thesaurus to come up with a bunch of different words for things, but the floor or the pavement is always granite.
Well, I mean, he's trying to, yeah. I really would like to know
other substance in the floor.
I think maybe like his, lack of language skills didn't do him justice. Maybe this would have been a good story.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to picture what's going on in his head, and this whole granite thing. I'm assuming there's some sort of he's thinking maybe some sort of Greek statue of some kind,
Yeah. Presently, all went selenite, save for the ebbing groans of the sinking shaman and Grigner's heaving breath, accompanied by several gusty curses. The well had run dry. No more lambs remained for the slaughter. The rampaging stead of death, having taken of Grigner for the moment, left the barbarian free to the exploitation of his other Perusials. Towering over his head was the misshaped image of the cult's hideous deity, Argon. I should say, actually, the cult's hideous deity, Argon. The fantastic size of the idol in consideration of its being of pure jade was enough to cause the senses of any man to stagger and reel. Yet thus was not the case for the behemoth. He had paid only casual notice to this incredible fact, while riveting the whole of his attention upon the jewel protruding from the idol's sole socket, its masterfully cut facets emitting blinding rays of hypnotizing beauty. After all,
I think it's getting better near the end.
a little bit. After all, a man cannot slink from a heavily guarded palace while burdened down by the intense bulk of a squatting statue, providing, of course, the idol can even be hefted, which in fact was beyond the reaches of Grignir's coursing stamina, and he starts losing me again.
Coursing stamina again.
Well, just like, he would take it if he could carry it, but he can't carry it. It's beyond his strength. He's just like it's too big. Like, yeah, it's too big to carry. We get it. On the other hand, the jewel, gigantic as it was, would not present a hindrance of any mean concern. Okay.
This reminds me of my own writing when I first moved to Canada.
Yeah.
Like
This guy grew up in America.
Grade 10, grade 11, I wrote like this, just
Yeah.
emphasizing points and not making much sense.
Help me, please. I can make it well worth your while, pleaded a soft, anguish-strewn voice wafting over Grignir's shoulders as he plucked the dull red emerald from its roots. So I forgot that the emerald is red. Turning, Grignir face, like, why not just say it's a ruby? Like, anyway.
Dull red emerald, it sounds all right.
Turning, Grignir faced the female that had lured him into this bloodbath, but whom had become all but forgotten in the heat of battle. I like how, like, even in her desperation, she's offering sex. You, ejaculated the accordion in a pleased tone. I thought that I had seen the last of you at the tavern, but verily I was mistaken. But verily.
Dude.
As everyone, barbarians are famous for saying verily. Anyway. Grignir advanced into the grips of the female's entrancing stare, severing the golden chains that held her captive upon the altar's highly polished face of ornamental limestone. Hey, it's a different rock this time. It's more than one rock.
The limestone.
As Grignir lifted the girl from the altar, her arms round dexterously about his neck, soft and smooth against his harsh exterior. Art thou pleased that we have chanced to meet once again? Grignir merely voiced a and sighed grunt, returning the damsel's embrace while he smothered her trim, delicate lips between the coursing protrusions of his reeking maw. Why is he describing his kiss as so fucking gross? Disgusting.
He's not really painting a good image of Grignir at all.
No. Let us take leave of this wretched chamber, stated Grignir, as he placed the female upon her feet. She swooned a moment, causing Grignir to give her support, then regained her stance. Art thou able to find your way through the accursed passages of this castle? Mirific! Every one of the corridors of this damned palace are identical.
Mirific is probably like, what, fuck? That's what he's trying to say?
I think either or like it's like a curse, or like maybe it's his god.
Okay.
He's like, by God, by Mirific.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. I want to know what you did before.
I was at one time a slave of Prince Agathim. His clammy touch sent a sour swill through my belly. By my efforts reaped a harvest. I gained the pig's liking, whereby he allowed me the freedom of the palace. It was through this means that I eventually managed escape of the palace. It was a simple matter to seduce the sentry at the western gate. His trust found him with a dagger through his ribs. The wench stated, this is an amazing word. The wench stated whimsically, which I am confident is not, I think he's trying to say whimsically.
Whimsically, right?
Whimsically, which is just such a great word. Even though it's not a word, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably made up at least 4 words that sound like the real words, but they're not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this one's probably the best one though because it's so long and so
Whims
weird.
whimsically.
Yeah, this lady was a slave.
What were you doing at the tavern?
Yeah, what were you doing at the tavern? What were you doing at the tavern whence I discovered you? Asked Grignir as he lifted the female through the opening into the mausoleum. So they're going up, I guess. I had sought to lay low from the palace's guards as they
What the
conducted their
fuck was
search
she
for
doing through all this? He went there to grab this ruby.
Yeah.
What was she doing there? She was getting sacrificed?
Yeah, she was
Then-
getting sacrificed at the altar of the god. That's
Okay.
actually why he went down because he heard her screaming.
Okay,
Then he killed everyone and completely forgot about the fact that she existed. Got distracted by the jewel, which he noticed for the first time. Then
okay,
she got his attention.
okay,
And now
okay,
they're escaping with the jewel.
okay.
The tavern was seldom frequented by the palace guards. My identity was unknown to the common soldiers. It was through the disturbance that you caused that the palace guards were attracted to the tavern. I was dragged away shortly after you were escorted to the palace. What are you called by, female? Carthena. Oh, we get a name. The character gets a name.
Bringing it in last second. Daughter.
Yeah. Carthena, daughter of Mancardos, Duke of Barwego. Just a bunch of meaningless words and places. Names.
Good on him though, man. I like it. These
Yeah.
sound real.
Whose lands border along the northwestern fringes of Gorzom. I think Grignir is from Gorzom.
Something like that. I've heard this, name before.
I was paid as homage to Agathim upon his 38th year, husked the femme. So she's like a duke's daughter, and he just
Was
like
offered
said, "Here,
for
now
task.
you're a slave to this other dude." Jesus.
Oh, she was offered for sacrifice.
Well, no, she was offered to the. She was given as a slave to this
To
sultan.
Isn't Agatham? Who is Agatham?
I think Agathim is the fat sultan who banished.
Okay.
I think,
Okay.
and then she was given to him as a slave for some reason. Don't know why. And I am called a barbarian, grunted Grignir in a disgusted tone. The ways of our civilization are in many ways warped and distorted. But what is your calling? She queried bustily. Gotta remember she has boobies.
Bustily.
Bustily.
The question mark.
Question mark
Bustily?
at the end of the sentence, not at the end of the dialogue. Anyway. Grignir of Accordia. I have heard vaguely of Accordia. It is the hill country to the far east of the Noragolian Empire. Oh, good. Now I'm glad of like this geography lesson that we're getting now, and history lesson. I have also heard Agathim curse your land more than once when his troops were rooted in the unaccustomed mountains and gorges, saith she. Saith she.
It's she. It's so unnecessary.
My people are not tarnished by petty luxuries and baubles. They remain fierce and unconquerable in their native climes. After reaching the hidden panel at the head of the stairway, Grignir was at a loss in regards to its operation. His fiercest heaves were as pebbles against burnished armor. Carthena depressed the small symbol within the elaborate design upon the panel, whereupon it slowly slid into a cleft in the wall. How did you come to be a victim of those crazed shaman? Quested Grignir as he escorted Carthena through the piles of rummage on the left side of the trap. By Agathim's orders, I was thrust into a secluded cell to await his passing of sentence. By some means, the priests of Argon acquired a set of keys to the cell. They slew the guard placed over me and abducted me to the chamber in which you chanced to come upon the Scostic sacrifice. I can't even begin to know what that means.
God.
SCOZ.
See, if he had taken one of this, either the Z or the S or the C, it would sound even more real.
Yeah,
Gnostic.
SCOZSCTIC. Like,
What does that mean? Maybe it does mean something.
is this a word? Because I feel like that doesn't even resemble anywhere I can possibly guess what it is.
Scholastic is the closest. No, that's not a real word.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what he was trying to say with that word is a mystery for the ages. What does that mean? Who knows? Their hellspawn cult demands a sacrifice once every 3 moons upon its full journey through the heavens. All right. They were startled by your unannounced appearance through the fear that you had been sent by Agathon. The prince would surely have submitted them to the most ghastly of tortures if he had ever discovered their unfaithfulness to Sargon, his bastard deity. So there's Argon and Sargon. Those are the 2 gods. Sargon is the god that the Sultan likes, but is still a bastard deity. Argon is the bad one. Many of the partakers of the ritual were high nobles and high trustees of the inner palace. Agathon's pitiless wrath would have been unparalleled. They have no more to fear of Agathon now, bellowed Grignir in a deep, mirthful tone, a gleeful smirk upon his face. I have seen that they were delivered from his vengeance. Engrossed by Carthena's graceful stride and conversation, Grignir failed to take note of the footfalls rapidly approaching behind him. As he swung aside the arched portal, linking the chamber with the corridors beyond, a mad and bloodlusting screech reverberated from his eardrums, seemingly utilizing the speed of thought. The speed of thought. Grignir swiveled to face his unknown foe. With gaping eyes and widened jaws, Grignir raised his axe above his surly mien. But he was too late. Dun dun dun! Chapter 7. Is this the end of Grignir? With wobbling knees and swimming head, the priest that had lapsed into an epileptic seizure rose unsteadily to his feet. While enacting his choking fit in writhing agony, the shaman was overlooked by Grignir. The barbarian had mistaken the seizure for the death throes of the acolyte, allowing the priest to avoid his stinging blade. The sight that met the priest's inflamed eye nearly served to sprawl him upon the floor once more. The sacrificial sat it grim, blood-splattered silence all around him, broken only by the occasional yelps and howls of his maimed and butchered fellows.
I've lost them now completely.
I think he's back. So this is back in the room where all the priests were murdered.
Okay.
And one of the priests survived. You probably don't remember, but there was one priest who had like a heart attack or a seizure as soon as Grignir dropped down into the room.
Yeah, he's the one that's survived.
And so he didn't die because he survived because Grignir thought he died, but he didn't. And now he's waking back up. So I think we're going back in time a little bit.
Okay.
Above his head rose the hideous idol, its empty socket holding the shaman's furbished, infuriated gaze. His eyes turned to a stony glaze with the realization of the pillage and blasphemy. Due to his high susceptibility following the seizure, the priest was transformed into a raving maniac bent solely upon wreaking vengeance. With lips curled and quivering, a crust of foam dripping from them, the acolyte drew a long, wicked-looking, jewel-hilted scimitar from his silver girdle and fled through the aperture in the ceiling, uttering a faintly perceptible ceremonial gibberish. Okay. That's the end of chapter 7.
That was it, and now it's 7.5.
Now 7.5, we'll read this one page of 7.5, I think, and then leave the rest for next time.
Okay.
A sweeping scimitar. So now we're skipping back to where we were. Oh, this is chapter 7.5, which is the main action. All right. A sweeping scimitar swung towards Grignir's head in a shadow blur of motion. With axe raised over his head, Grignir prepared to parry the blow.
Sorry to cut you off, but I feel like you should have gone with 6.5 there. You know?
Yeah, he definitely. This should be chapter 7, and the previous chapter should have been 6.5. That would have made more sense. And like his system that is not logical, that would have made more logical sense.
Because it's not length based and it's not story based.
Yeah, it's what is it even based on? I don't know.
Who knows?
Anyway, Grignr prepared to parry the blow while gaping wide-eyed and open-mouthed perplexity. Suddenly, a sharp snap resounded behind the frothing shaman. The scimitar, halfway through its fatal sweep, dropped from a quivering, nerveless hand, clattering harmlessly to the stonage. So instead of the pavement or the floor, it's the stonage. Cutting the screech short with a bubbling, red-mouthed gurgle, the lacerated acolyte staggered under the pressure of the released springboard. Oh, he sprung the trap that Grignr reset. There was a setup and a payoff. Amazing. Amazing. After a moment
Listen, you don't give him any credit, dude. You should, you know? 16-year-old. Remember that.
Yeah.
He went back to it.
Yeah. Amazing. After a moment of hopeless struggling, the shaman buckled, sprawling face down in a widening pool of blood with 2 L's and 1 O and entrails. His regal purple robe blending enhancingly with the swirling streams of crimson.
Horrific.
Mirific! I thought I'd killed the last of those dogs, muttered Grignr in a half-apathetic state. Nay, Grignr, you doubtless grew careless while giving vent to your lusts. But let us not tarry any long, lest we overtax the fates. The paths leading to freedom will soon be barred. The wretch's cries must certainly have attracted unwanted attention, the wench mused. For some reason, that's written like kind of like half quotations, as though that's something she's saying, but it's not. It's something she's thinking. By what direction shall we pursue our flight? I don't know who's saying that. I'm assuming Grignr's saying
This is
that.
Grignr.
Up that stair and down the corridor a short distance is the concealed entrance to a tunnel, seldom used by others than the prince, and known to few others save the palace's royalty. Okay, just kind of all right. Say the same thing twice.
How does she know it then?
Oh, because she got to explore the palace because
And she was kind of royalty, right? Or something.
no, well, no, I think it's like she was a
Lord.
slave in the context of the palace, but the Sultan liked her and let her do what she pleased. It was used mainly by the prince when he wishes to take leave of the palace in secret. It is not always in the prince's best interest to leave his chateau in public view. Even while under heavy guard, he is often assaulted by hurtling stones and rotting fruits. The commoners have little love for him, lectured the near lady. I don't know what a near lady is. N-E-R-E lady. Anyway, maybe she's near a lady, but she's not quite a lady. Maybe that's what he means.
N-E-R what?
N-E-R-E lady, one word.
It's not a word.
Yeah, all right.
Dude, he's made up so many words. That's impressive.
It is amazing. It is amazing that they would ever have left a pig like him. It is amazing that they would ever have left a pig like him become their ruler. I should imagine that his people would rise up and crucify him like the dog he is. Alas, Grignr, it is not as simple as all that. His soldiers are well paid by him. So long as he keeps their wages up, they will carry out his damned wish. The crude implements of the common folk would never stand up under an onslaught of forged blades and protective armor. They would be going to their own slaughter. Stated Carthena to a confused but angered Grignr as they topped the stairway. Yet how can they bear to live under such oppression? I would sooner die beneath the sword than live under such a dog's command, added Grignr as the pair stalked down the hall in the direction opposite that in which Grignr had come. Okay. But all men are not of the same mold that you were born of. They choose to live as they are so as to save their filthy necks from the chopping block, returned Carthena in a disgusted tone as she cast an appeased glance towards the stalwart figure at her side, whose left arm was bound dexterously around her slim waist, his slowly waning torch casting their images in intermingling wisps as it dangled from his left hand. All right.
Weird imagery, but go on.
Yeah,
Okay.
weird. Yeah, it is. Like they're walking through a dungeon like a couple, I guess.
In a romantic way, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Presently, Carthena came upon the panel, concealed amongst the other granite slabs and discernible only by the burned out cresset above it. As I pushed the cresset aside, pushed the panel inwards, Carthena motioned to the panel she was referring to and twisted the cresset in a counterclockwise motion. Grignir braced his right shoulder against the walling, concentrating the force of his bulk against it. The slab gradually swung inward, despite him pushing on it, with a slight grating sound.
I'm just blown away by the fact that you used the word crescent like 3 times in 2 sentences. And I hadn't
Yeah.
even heard that word before the story.
Yeah. He likes it. He found it and he likes it.
Crescent. Okay.
Carthena Oh, we were supposed to stop a bit. We read a bit too much. Yeah, we'll stop there, I guess.
Okay.
Actually, no, we'll just finish this paragraph. Carthena stooped beneath Grignir's corded arms and crawled upon all fours. Oh, okay, so there's a small crawl space into the passage beyond. Grignir followed after easing the slab back into place. And we'll leave them there as they adventure through the tunnels. There's like 3.5 pages left of this amazing story.
Damn, most of it is in that last little bit. How many pages was it in total?
I don't know. I didn't count.
Who knows?
More than it needs to be.
That's the answer.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. I think you know what we should do for like we do like a little mini series. And I think for that we're gonna it's gonna be my suggestion. We're gonna look at different sports and do commentary on it. Not real sports, but like new made up ones. like have you seen Australian football? Things like that.
I have not, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, we'll do
like watch a game and comment on it, or
I mean, listen, I think the fun part of it would be to like dig in, learn a little bit about it too. You know, we'll make a little thing out of it.
All right.
Try to come up with some fun stuff to look at.
I'm down for it.
Okay.
Next time we'll finish the story, and then the time after that.
Okay.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and see you guys next time for the thrilling conclusion to the Eye of Argon.
Finale. Sit tight.
Yeah.